Visitor comments on the agenda only.
Hi. I have some questions about something you have on the agenda, which I haven't seen before in past years when there have been actual layoffs. So it's approve abolishment of job titles. And I'm specifically going to skip over the first couple and go right to the ones that are actually civil service positions. I don't mean necessarily represented by CSDA, I'm talking civil service positions. Meaning people have to take tests in order to have this position. So I'm going to talk about the safety liaisons title, and you're abolishing the title. So if you abolish a title, that means that that title no longer exists. I'll give you an example. There were a couple employees that were stenographers prior to my arrival here at the district, and those two employees retired, not at the same time that they retired. That title was abolished, rightly so, because stenographer is an out-of-date title that's not used anymore. Now we're using senior typist, administrative secretary. So that's a situation where you would actually abolish a title. I've never seen where there have been layoffs, and that's what happened up here that's listed under this about the title, job title. So I'm a little bit confused about that. So the safety liaisons both had to take a test in order to be in that position permanently. As did your chief information officer, which on here is listed director of data and accountability. That's not a civil service title, as I'm sure we all know. That's not the title used on the MSP 426A, now known as Report of Personnel Changes, which is the form that goes to civil service, the City of Mechanicville Civil Service Commission specifically, and is approved or disapproved by them. So I don't really understand how you're doing it this way, as opposed to just saying these people are being laid off. When you get laid off, you get a letter that tells you that you've got to refer this for a period of time, and, if the budget changes or whatever, the district has the money and wants to re-implement these conditions. The way you're doing it, and I went to the civil service meeting last night, by the way, the way you're doing it abolishes this title. It will no longer exist. So I don't understand how you on the one hand give someone a letter saying, hey, if we come up with money or decide how to come back, you're on a deferred list, so don't worry about it, versus now the title no longer exists. You have to create a position, so it's not as simple, and one kind of contradicts the other, if you will. So I'm curious about that, and so you're abolishing the title of Director of Data and Accountability, not Chief Information Officer, according to your agenda, which, as I've been told, unlike City Council, where they have actual resolutions to vote on, typically you guys don't have an actual resolution unless it's something more specific or whatever. So the legal action you're taking when you vote tonight is to vote to abolish these specific titles. So, also, if thankfully we didn't, you end up re-implementing the teaching positions and the teaching assistant positions, but I have to think that had they actually gone through and being laid off, you wouldn't have abolished those titles, because then you would then wipe out every single teacher or teaching assistant by abolishing the title. So this makes absolutely 0% to me, 0% sense to me. And again, it's not my first day as far as how these things work. I obviously have a little bit of knowledge of them. So I would kind of actually explain why that's different and why you're doing it this way, etc. Because it is going to have an impact on what you're doing. Now, also safety liaisons specifically, I'd like to talk about. I came to the public hearing that wasn't recorded, didn't have microphones, insane to me. And I specifically talked about the chart that was handed out on April 2nd for the budget Q&A that listed every single position, well, some of them did actually, I shouldn't say it listed every single position, of jobs who potentially going to lay off. And I went through each one with Colleen the superintendent and asked, is this still correct? Is this still correct? Then I spoke about the safety liaison. So I'm going to say here publicly what I said there, which is this. You're laying off 2 safety liaisons. And I know you all are not in school every day, but we are. And there's a lot that goes on. And it's very, very, very concerning to me as both an employee and as a member of the public that we're taking this route. That leaves the district with 1 SRO to cover both buildings. And now we have an access road that I'm sure he polices. He's an actual police officer, law enforcement officer, right? Okay. As are your safety liaisons. They're retired police officers. They have specific training in situations. So I asked superintendent, what is your plan? What's the safety plan? To which he said, the building administrators are going to handle it. And I said, no disrespect, but they are not law enforcement officers. There is a difference. In this day and age, with everything going on, I think it's insane to put more pressure, first of all, on the building administrators when you're getting rid of 1 building administrator in the elementary school, 1 down here, and now the building administrators that are left are supposed to deal with this. They're not trained law enforcement officers. You are putting us in a potential liability situation. This is my opinion. You don't have to like it. It's insane that we're doing this. Not to mention the whole first part that I said about the titles and everything. You're abolishing titles.
Time.
Thanks, Kim.
I'll be next one.
Kim, I want to make something very clear. The language that we put in our agendas are recommended per our legal counsel. Ed Law Section 3013 speaks to the abolishment of positions. It speaks very clearly. NYSA follows guidance with it. The abolishment, as it reads, is the position is not to be filled that next year. It's not going to be in existence. That's not to say that it couldn't come back. It defines very clearly the preferred eligibility list and all the criteria on it. As a reduction in force, as it's known, is a process. And I've been here a long time too, and I haven't seen the wording that way either. But as it's explained, there is no term for reduction that's built within that section of the law. Reduction itself refers to a declination of a position from less to what it was, whether that's 1.0 to 0.0. In some ways, it's semantics, but in order to match the language of 3013, the word abolishment is used, not to vaporize a position, but to properly put that position categorically where it belongs, so that hopefully, when some of those positions or some of those titles return, that process is followed.
Do you want me to wait till the end to rebut all that stuff?
Yes. Okay. Let's move on to the president report. Of course, today is kind of a sad or transitional day for the board. Tonight is John BoE's last public board meeting. So I'd like to acknowledge and honor his service to our district. John has been a board member for 18 years, and I've had the pleasure of working alongside him for 8 years. He has chaired the Audit and Finance Committee for all of those years, and that's not by accident. He has a fiscal mindset. He believes in making the most of taxpayer money. He's giving an eye roll here. John always looks at the big picture. He doesn't have a personal agenda, and he wasn't just looking out for his own kids or a few people's interests. He did the work to serve our entire district and our community. He lives here, he owns property, and has a business all in Mechanicville. He cares and wants the best for our students and the greater community. You may have noticed that he is impatient and outspoken, and I don't mean that in a negative sense. He is impatient and wants that to be everyone's focus. John will say, "Isn't that why we're here?" Even though John and I didn't always agree, we have the same mindset and priorities. I will miss his honesty, perspective, and guidance, and I wish him well in the future. And I don't know if any other board member wants to say anything.
I've been a member with him for 15 or 18 years. To me, he always know where you're at with him. He's very upfront, very straightforward. We'll want you to win that now, the other whole Christ. If it's something that you will against what he was like, he respects that very. And so that many facts. And I appreciate that. I want to use it too.
I'll see you tomorrow, Gordon.
Okay, nobody else have anything?
Same, and I'll follow up with, for me personally, John, you're the OG of the board. When I got here back in February of 2010. Been with you straight through this journey here. More than appreciative for your guidance, for your leadership, and for the service that you brought. For me as principal, working into this current role, for the staunch advocate for our kids, whether it's finance, program, you're the champion for them, and you left your mark here without a doubt. So, on behalf of a very grateful district, thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you brought to us. And as a small token of our appreciation, we have a little acknowledgement for you, John. MCSD board member from 2007 to 2025.
Is he the longest serving one? He might be.
John, it might be more fun, right?
And then the record.
John, right down there, don't run that table too And from one appreciation to the other, we've acknowledged some of these folks, some that are here tonight. We have some folks that have been in this district for a long, long time. Speaking of making their mark, they have done so and then some. And that's a huge congratulations to our 2024-2025 retirees. Mrs. Teresa Ashline, Britt Callahan, Jim DeVito, Angela Krulls, Terry O'Brien, Joe Yankowski, and Dan Zelnicki. The years of service alone that are on that slide don't speak anywhere near to the impact that you've had on our community, on our district, and most importantly, on our kids. I'm seeing Joe out there right now. Joe, congratulations to you and the retirees. Thank you. A big thank you to MHS class of 1975 alumni, Tom Calora. He has generously donated a slew of art supplies to our art department, so they'll be accepted, and it'll help our students greatly in their programs and their respect for yearly supplies. So thank you, Tom, for your donation. With that, we'll move into our building updates. I invite Mr. Dyckman. Come on.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kolakowski. All right, we are warp speed up at the elementary school, as I'm sure it's the same down here as well. So, first starting off with our fourth grade Either Or Explorers podcast. The fourth grade concluded their opinion writing unit with classroom presentations of the Either Or Explorers podcast that students wrote. In this opinion writing unit, students were guests on a Would You Rather style podcast. Very interesting. Students wrote 4-paragraph opinion text that included a thesis, 2 reasons, and supported by examples. Students presented their podcast at the end of each unit. As you can see, it was quite an awesome time while in 4th grade. All right, next one, please. Okay, so happy to showcase some of our after-school clubs that we were able to bring to our students this year in the hopes that it continues in the years to come. After securing some Title IV money with the help of Mrs. DiCaprio, we've offered a STEAM club run by Mrs. Glass and Mrs. Grimaldi. If you go to the next one, Mr. Kolakowski, a Game-tastic club run by Ms. Pasculi, and our intramural club run by Coach Standish and Mrs. Ines. These new opportunities for our students has been a great way to connect our students to our school. And God willing, I'm hoping that there will be title money so we can continue some of these programs. When I first got here, this was one of my goals, was increasing some of the after-school enrichment opportunities for our kids, and keeping our fingers crossed that we can continue to do it, because we have a lot of happy kids enjoying these extra things going on with the help.
Do you know how much they are? Like the Game-tastic, do you know?
So we have, it was a set amount, it was $1,200 per activity. And we had a couple other things that, it took some time to kind of lift them off the ground. It was a little bit delayed. But it was $1,200 for each one of those clubs. And, by the time we had it started, we didn't prorate that stipend. And like I said, we need more, I want more. Again, was a big goal of mine to get a lot of these things in our school up the hill. And again, this is just a taste, I think, of what we could do. And again, it comes to, I'm glad you mentioned, you bring it up, every year, me, Mr. Mitchell, and the other administrators in the district, we're always looking for ways to improve our attendance, improve our connection with our students, getting them, excited to come to school. And this is a great way having these opportunities, especially with the hill, where we don't have as much. So we're hoping that with the title money, we can continue some of these opportunities for our kids. Thank you. We're up here, sure. Okay, so on May 8th and 9th, the students of Mechanicville City School District had on display at the Mechanical Arts Center in the heart of town some very amazing works of art. Students, families, and our school community came out to see these beautiful creations of art and creativity. Congratulations to all of our students district-wide. And a huge thank you to Mrs. Titus and Mrs. Seymour, who just put on a really great art show at the Art Center. And it was fun. Mrs. DeMarco, Joey DeMarco, we both discovered that we did nursery school in the basement of the church, and that's the first time I've been in the church for a few decades. So it was a cool experience for me as well. And then we're going to move right on to there we go. Okay. All right, so our fifth graders have been quite busy during their final stretch at MES. So if you have charter buses up the Northway, we had our annual field trip to Lake George. And we visited Fort William Henry Museum, where students learned about the bravery, war strategies, and survival during the French and Indian War. We met some British regulars, rangers, carpenters, and of course, we saw both the firing of a musket and cannon. It was really cool. We saw historical exhibits and artifacts as well. In addition, we took a beautiful guided tour aboard the Mohegan Steamboat of the beautiful Lake George, learning about the formation and deep history of this very historical body of water. And as you can see, it was, for May, end of May, it was a little bit chilly, but luckily the rain held off, and we were able to enjoy the day. Keep rolling with all the fifth grade fun. Our fifth grade 4-H training center, our fifth graders went on a field trip to the training center in Ballston Spa for an environmental field day. Students learned about our interdependence on our environment with local agency experts who guided our students through hands-on activities about natural habitats, plants, water, soil, and more. They got a close-up look at animals, food, and agricultural life. All right, moving right on. Fifth grade spring concert on May 28th. Our fifth grade chorus and band, led by Ms. Bacon and Ms. Newsy, respectively, pulled off two amazing performances. One of the performances during the school day for our students and staff, and in the evening for their families and community. It was a beautiful day of music here at Mechanicville, and our 5th grade students are looking forward to continuing their musical journey as they transition to the junior high and high school, and Ms. Roby was there helping out kind of to pass the torch, so to speak. All right. A couple pictures of the concert. All right. This month, students in grades pre-K through 5th grade were treated to a captivating arts and education program called Oceans Live, presented by the engaging and knowledgeable Mr. B. It was really cool. The program brought marine life to the forefront with fascinating preserved specimens, including a lobster, a giant isopod, a pufferfish, a shark, and a horseshoe crab. Mr. B enriched the experience with an interactive slideshow filled with incredible ocean facts like this. Did you know that a horseshoe crab blood is blue and it plays a vital role in making IVs for humans? And did you know that the largest jellyfish, and this one's crazy, is larger than a truck? Yeah, interesting. And to top it off, each child was invited to take home a small souvenir from the sea, a fossil, shark tooth, or seashell, making the learning experience both memorable and hands-on. All right. You can't get any more elementary school than the quintessential spelling bee, of course. So on Friday, May 30th, we had some brilliant MES students compete in our annual spelling bee. I want to thank Mrs. Annette who organized the whole event, and our teacher volunteers who were judges and other key members to pull this off. And I just want to congratulate our 3rd grade champions, Landon Demonio and Estelle Parker, our 4th grade champion, Ariel Moco, and our 5th grade champion, Laura Warren. Our overall runner-up was Muriel, and our overall champion was Laura Warren. It's amazing. We were actually kind of talking about the words, and I was getting them wrong, of course, and the kids were just coming up with them, and it was really amazing. It's some amazing kids there. All right, and I have one more. Okay, there you go. All right, we had our 4th grade field trip to the New York State Museum and Capitol. And our 4th grade students were completely engaged by the displays in some local and statewide history, and even had the opportunity to meet and learn about New York State government from our own Senator, Jim Tedesco. And it was a great day for our 4th graders. I want to thank our PTA for helping to organize that event. All right, Kevin, I think to the upcoming events. So there are some things going on. Obviously, as everybody knows in elementary school and school in general, it comes fast, it comes furious, and our kids are going to enjoy every minute of it. We got an assembly coming up tomorrow. We got our field day, tug of war. I was on the championship team last year, and looking to repeat that. Flag Day ceremony, of course, our kindergarten graduations. We're looking forward to that. And again, just our senior walkthrough is coming up, but as everybody knows, it comes fast, it comes furious, and it's awesome stuff. And we're going to close out the year with a lot of fun out there. Any questions for me? You were signed. You're going to ask me a question? I don't think you were signed. What are you going to ask a question?
Definitely like field trips.
Sprint to the finish, but it's
awesome.
It's great. I'll tell you, as a parent of a 5th grader, it's just non-stop action from here until we finish.
Got to get more progress on.
Enjoy every minute.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
All right, let's bring up Mrs. Peluso and Ms. Roby.
Lots going on at the high school, lots to celebrate. We're going to start off by recognizing our junior, senior high school band, Miss Roby. If you would like your musicians to come up, we have some incredible awards we'd like to share. So if you'd like to come up, bring those trophies up and show them off. Our junior, senior, no? Come on, don't be shy. Our band traveled to Hershey Park this past weekend and did an absolutely incredible job, winning top accolades. Won best performance and overall high school champion. This is absolutely incredible. Thank you to Ms. Roby, chaperones, and all of you. Incredible job.
Yeah, so we went and performed Friday night at Hershey High School. We competed in Division Single A, which meant high school underneath 750 students enrolled in it. So there were 2 bands in that category, and that's where we won this first place trophy with a superior rating. And then Hershey Park midday through, they invited all the bands that competed into the Hershey Arena, and it was actually a really cool experience. We got to send Brooke and Ellen have also done receive our trophies, where we received the overall high school council band out of 3 bands. It was a really cool weekend. We had 34 students go all the way down, seniors singular, down to 3 8th graders. We had a great time on the roller coasters. I love roller coasters. Some of us do not love roller coasters, which I learned. But it was a great bonding experience for us. It's just another example of, the excellence we can have even in a small district program.
Ms. Roby, I'm just going to ask, Ms. Roby, the band raised the money to go,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Which was really impressive.
Yeah, so we have a band booster club now, Mechanicville Band Booster Club. It's in its first year of inception. We worked really hard this year to really greatly lower the cost of this trip. So there was some student cost associated with it, but we almost took it down in half from what it would have been. And we're already looking into next year, and we are also with the booster group helping the middle school band trip, and they're going to Six Flags next week.
Nice.
Yeah. They're not playing, they're just going.
Right, so you're going to have more fundraisers
Yes.
in the next year to raise money for next year's events. I like that. That's awesome.
It's really important. I want to thank you guys for the equipment we got last year. We aren't able to do things like this without the equipment to rehearse on and practice on, and it opens us up to so much more repertoire that we would not be able to do with some of the equipment that we've had in the past that we had to retire. So thank you guys for that. And I have a shopping list for us going forward. Don't worry. But yeah, thank you for your support.
Taylor, I mean, an unbelievable success story of bringing this band to where it is. I mean, not only to achieve first place, but to have a product like you've been able to demonstrate. Because we're going to take the 5 minutes of the clip from Hershey, and we're going to play it just to demonstrate just how amazing skilled you call it. That this band is under your directorship, and we just give you a lot of credit, and we are so thankful that you're here to grow our kids because you make a difference. You have that impact. So thank you, and congratulations to this band.
We hope to see you at our pop show. We're playing quite a lot of things. There's Looney Tunes, 6th grade band convinced me to play Steve's Lava Chicken. They're playing there's stuff from Frozen, Grease, what am I missing? Pirates of the Caribbean, Encanto, something from Wicked, of course. So it's going to be a good one. So we're going to go sit down now.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, 1 second. I want to say anything.
Be free. Be free. I'm sorry.
Since you began here,
Yes.
it's been beyond impressive what you've done, having a granddaughter that is part of the music program. I get to see most of the concerts and things you've done. And the improvement, and I said this before, the outdoors has been unreal. That's because they like you, they love you, and want to work for you. And I hope that we can be here for many, many years, and it's unlimited what you can achieve. So thank you.
We're really excited. We actually have quite a few kids looking to go into music after high school, and so one of them is actually conducting next week. So
The numbers of kids that are part of the program is just amazing. That's really, really good. Thank you.
absolutely, thank you.
We're just going to introduce everybody to the talent that you brought to Hershey. Here we go. Me.
This smells result. It is great.
We got Mr. Kidd.
It's once you connect it, it'll take sound.
What do we got to do, IT guys?
Just restart my order.
Turn it on.
Try to plug it that.
send me a video, put it on.
Everything is to be
We,
in the interim.
yeah, no doubt. You get that, you know, it's, we can't live with it, we can't live without it. It's always working. Mrs. Pluso, you wanna go through a couple of the other updates that we have going on?
Yeah, and I do want to share, I got word that our varsity baseball team did win 11-2. I don't want to say the time, but I believe they play on Saturday now.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
At the Joe, for the
So,
regional finals.
we didn't have a slide, but really great,
You
exciting.
want to jinx it, probably.
What?
You want to jinx it.
That's right, exactly. Just to kind of go along, our senior class formally chose Miss Beth Hughes to be giving our commencement speech this graduation. So that's great news. We're excited to have her. Some of the other exciting things that we've had going on, we just celebrated yesterday our valedictorian and salutatorian at our ceremony here. Congratulations to Emma Daly, our valedictorian, and Ava Ballmer, our salutatorian. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You got them proud.
They're just beginning, so it's incredible to see what they've already done. Another incredible ceremony that we had was our top 10 celebration. This is students in grades 6 through 12 with their top 10 GPAs. So we had that ceremony last week. And then earlier this week, the last one is we recognized 16 seniors who are continuing their athletic career at the collegiate level. So incredible. Keep pushing along. But those were my main slides. I know I'm probably quicker than Mr. Mitchell. So thank you very much.
Well, nuts. Well, we're going to be posting this Facebook, website, you name it, because the product that we have, and that's unfortunate, is nothing short of absolutely fantastic. And worthy of not only sharing, but hearing just how impressive our kids are. Is Dan going to give that one more shake? Peluso had said, congratulations to Beth Hughes for being nominated as the class of 2025 commencement speaker. And a huge congratulations, both to Emma Daly as well as to Ava Palmer, both are valedictorian and salutatorian. A big thank you to Angela Krolls and to Jen Seymour for speaking on their behalf. Just a great acknowledgement of many, many years of very hard work. Congratulations to both the Daly and all the families. Our top 10 celebration list had gone out, and a huge congratulations to all of our top 10 students for grades 6 through 12. Difficult accomplishment to attain, lots of hard work, but these are students that are grinding and persevering. As Ms. Peluso had said, 16 graduating seniors continuing on their athletic journeys at the next level. So the class of 2025 signing day, great turnout here at the cafeteria. Just a real testament to the talents in multiple ways that this class is going to leave its mark in the arts, visual, creative, musical, athletics. Just a big congratulations to our kids and with our Mechanicville Red Raider mascot. There's a lot to swirl, and we have a lot to unpack. We're not going to go back through where we were, because I think everyone now knows where we are. There was a lot of feedback for what we could be instead. And there was also discussion of what we also might do. Some things that don't change is the fact that we are Mechanicville. It's an option to sunset our logo and mascot name and choose to not move in a different direction outside of Mechanicville. As far as state mandates, back to that in a second. We have the mandate through the state that's been adopted by the Board of Regents to propose and accept a resolution to sunset mascots with any vestige of indigenous language, logo, etc. That's this month. We've had feedback, we've had review, demonstrated the results and recommendations. The board's reviewed options. The board's discussed, what options it would consider. And here we are at our June meeting for a resolution on next steps. Because June 30th is our deadline with either a new mascot or name or a sunset to take effect on July 1st. So just some board insight in respect to the mascot, state mandate to sunset the mascot. We do require BOE action to accept a resolution to do so. We accepted the resolution that we would adopt a sunset for June 30th. It was basically a promissory back in 2022.
And now we're going to ask the board of.
Well, now I'm going to get to it next. So the board's going to have autonomy to choose a direction. You can table the decision because it's not due until later this month. That would then require you to come back and adopt the state resolution. That final decision rests with you as a board. But there's also a few more factors out there from the world of federal government that the DOE has cited to New York State and a few others that it's not legal to do what the state has mandated us to do. Massapequa is at the middle of it. They're really the focal point on where this is between state and feds. Where we go with that part will be in the courts. For how long? I don't know. Where it goes from there, I also couldn't tell you. I have an obligation in my role to tell the board that we have a resolution that is on the agenda to move forward for the sunset. But the bottom line is, the decision lies with you. Do we elect to move forward with something new? Do we identify as who we are? Do we continue to review new names and logos with such resolution? I guess I opened up the discussion to the board for where you are. So you know, we know one way or the other where we're at. We are at the end of the June deadline in order to make an adoption of the resolution. Are there thoughts one way or the other? Which direction would?
We adopt the resolution and say things change in the federal space. We could always reverse.
You put a resolution to go back.
Right. That's an option. We can abide by state, requirements right now. And we could always go back if things were overturned.
Yes.
I know we talked last time about the mascot. Some people were in favor of one, some weren't. And I thought we were going to go back and I wanted to know what the students felt about it. And I want to be the one to say, yes, we want a mascot. So I'd like to know what the students feel. Do they want a mascot or do they not? I mean, where did we ever?
I think the students want their mascot. The students have come up with all those images that you have on there, most all came from student conversations. And when we convened the student panel, Mustangs was hot. I mean, they really had a few different selections that they started migrating to. In the end, if I'm going to speak for the students of the district, I mean, nobody wants change, right? Everyone wants the rate. Is there a possibility that we can hang on? I'm going to say right now, between feds and state, maybe. I would recommend that, as far as getting in the weeds of state mandates, if we adopt and we stay with our brand as we are now, I would recommend that we do so until we know what our options are, so that it's not forced imposition on the direction that the board needs to say, hey, we're going to look for Mustangs or Thunder, you name your image and mascot, if you will, and state that for a time that with great certainty that we have to move in a different direction. Because when we still say, hey, there's still a chance. If I know this community well enough, if there's a chance, we're going to hold on to that chance until you tell me I can't.
I think part of the problem with changing, like adopting a new mascot, is to really for it to take hold. We would need to promote it. We would need to pay to promote it and make a lot of changes to like uniforms and things like that. I don't know if we're ready for that, or want to commit those funds,
In a different direction. I mean, all the one set of uniforms right now are, our Mechanicville. A lot of the branding that we have is related to our ad. Things that can't be touched. It says right there on Mr. Bowen's trophy, forever a Raider, right? And the Raider pride in the music department, in athletics, in the arts, as a community. That pride is forever there. So my recommendation to the board is that we adopt and mandate as we are obligated to do, and then hold to know what are our options. There are other schools, I believe this unit for one, really holding on to the same thing. Like, we're Nitsky. Well, we're not Nitsky. We're Mechanicville. And when we have certainty, then we have a further conversation beyond that and say, what, we hold on to what we are.
What are you going to see?
No, I'm good with finding it out.
So pass a resolution, don't make it chain necessarily to anything, and then wait for the courts to meet there.
So the resolution that we have on tonight's agenda is simply for sunset. Sunset of Mechanicville. Okay? Well, we have the opportunity to, bring that back. Let's do it. Okay. That completes.
Okay, maybe for information.
So we have some items for information before we get into actions. Band, congratulations and thank you so much. A note to please be advised that the district-wide safety plan will be posted on our website for a 30-day public comment period beginning June 6th, 2025. And items for information, some of which we've already gone over. Next Tuesday, June 10th, Pops concert. June 12th, we have a clean tech graduation at 8:30. June 18th, class of 25 elementary walkthrough. Also on June 18th in the evening, Bruce's graduation. June 19th, Juneteenth, there's no school. June 23rd, the class of 2025 award ceremony at 6:30 in the auditorium. June 24th is the 8th grade moving up ceremony in the morning. June 26th is the last day of school for students in grades pre-K through 8, 9 through 12. The last day of the class will be the 16th. And June 27th, class of 2025 graduation will take place on the turf. And July 14th will be our next BoE meeting at 6 p.m. here in the cafeteria. It's gnarly out, we'll move someplace else.
And Mr. Brian, board action?
So I recommend the Board of Education approve the financial reports for April 2025 listed in A through G below.
Motion. Mr. Bowe, second. Mrs. Gorski, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I recommend the Board of Education accept the Committee on Special Education report listed in item A below.
Motion. Mr. Duplessis, second. Mrs. Young, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
The next 5 is already with the board. I'd like to consolidate those into one action. They're all approval of special meeting minutes with different dates that I'll list. So I'll recommend the Board of Education approve the special meeting minutes of April 29th, 2025, May 1st, 2025, the 12th, 2025, the 20th, 2025, and May 22nd.
Motion. Mrs. Young, second. Mr. Taglione, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I recommend the Board of Education adopt the resolution to authorize a reorganizational meeting to be held on July 14th, 2025. Clarity, this is a resolution that with any scheduling conflicts, which we have, both myself and the board, if the meeting takes place after the first week in July, there is an authorization through resolution to extend at or before July.
Motion. Mrs. Gorski, second. Mr. Bowe, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Recommend the Board of Education approve the Board of Education meeting schedule for the 25-26 school year as outlined in the attachment.
And the motion? Mr. Taglione, second. Mrs. Young, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Recommend the Board of Education approve the tentative class of 2025 graduate list.
And the motion? Mr. Duplessis, second. Mrs. Young, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I recommend the appointment of Mechanicville as the ex officio board member commencing on July 1st, 2025, and ending on June 30th, 2026. As you will recall, the ex officio is the state mandate that requires us to appoint a student to sit here on the board. They are ex officios, they're a non-voting member. Maddie had voiced her interest in the position, and she'll be our first candidate. And it's subject to change, but it'll be great to have some student voice here today.
Okay, so if other students are interested,
They can see Mr. Mitchell.
Okay,
You know, we can rotate through. Well, we got a jump point, so we got our first victim. And
July, right? They'll be here in July.
They're on until either we switch out or we add on to a list. So we can have a list of multiple. So it'll be really good. It's a year-long appointment unless they resign.
Make a motion. Mrs. Young, second. Mr. Tadman, discussion. Welcome, Maddie. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Along those lines, we have Mrs. Greenhall in the audience. Ms. Greenhall, congratulations on your go back on. So welcome back. See you next month up here.
Back.
Recommend the Board of Education appoint the following individuals to the district-wide school safety committee, BoE Health and Safety Committee for the 2025-2026 school year.
I have a motion. Mr. BoE, second. Mr. Tadman, discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
When the Board of Education approve the following health and welfare service agreements outlined in A through C below for Waterford, Half Moon, North Colony, and all of these city schools. These are the districts to which students go to a school. It most often is either a charter or a private school within the service area of those schools that we have. We have an obligation for payment for health and welfare services for those students that attend those schools.
I have a motion. Mrs. Young, second. Mrs. Gorski, discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Recommend the Board of Education approve the sale or disposal of the attached damaged and/or obsolete IT equipment as it's no longer valued to the district.
I have a motion. Mr. Puglisi, second. Mrs. Young, discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I recommend the Board of Education abolish the following support staff positions and/or administrative positions effective June 30th of 2025. One assistant principal in the assistant principal tenure area, one director of staff, student, and family engagement in the director of staff, student, and family engagement tenure area, one director of data accountability, and two safety liaisons.
I have a motion. Mr. Bowe, second. Mr. Puglisi, discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Not an easy decision, and thank our staff for their service and wish them nothing but success in their next chapter. I recommend the Board of Education accept the following MTA resignations effective at the close of business on June 30th, 2024. For Alex Spice as a chorus teacher and Dawn Alvarez as elementary teacher.
Motion. Mr. Puglisi, second. Mrs. Gorski, discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I recommend the Board of Education approve the probationary appointments for Elena Tremblay as a Spanish 7 through 12 teacher in the tenure area the same, commencing on July 1st. Contingent upon achievement of effective or highly effective APPR scores and requirements of education law, appointed in step 6 of the NTA contract and verifiable credit.
I have a motion. Mr. Bowe, second. Mr. Puglisi, discussion. I'm just glad we got a Spanish teacher.
We are very fortunate to have a very talented individual.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Recommend the Board of Education approve the following probationary MAA appointment for a 4-year probationary appointment of Ms. Molly Caluso as Director of Student Support Services, commencing on July 1st, 2025, ending on June 30th, 2029. Ms. Caluso's starting salary will be $180,000 for the MAA contract and any verifiable credit.
I have a motion. Mrs. Young, second. Mr. Tagman, discussion. Welcome, well, congratulations, you're in here. Congratulations. Oh, sorry, I should have done that after all in favor. I got that myself. Opposed? Carried.
I recommend the Board of Education approve the following extension of term employments effective September 2nd, 2025, and ending on or about June 26th, 26, at the hourly rate of pay for CSDA contract as outlined below.
Motion.
I just have a question. Are these yearly appointments or are they, I've never seen that before. I
No,
guess.
extension of term would be that they would be on probationary status.
Are.
They're just not
Hey,
tethered. Okay.
That's what tenure in CSDA is.
That's what I see.
May I have a motion?
okay.
Mr. Taglia, second. Mr. Young, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I recommend the Board of Education approve the following to work during the summer months as outlined in the A through G below.
May I have a motion? Mr. Puglisi, second. Mr. Bo, discussion? All in favor? Nay. What is going on in the buildings for this time?
For the summer?
Yeah, like for these appointments.
When we're talking, we do have our ESY program, which is the extended school year. That's right with our 12-on-1. Our school psychologists, they do work a few days during the summer. They include their logs and submit their hours, especially Medicaid. For our nurses, that's when we start going through immunization records and physicals and making sure that we're in compliance moving in. We have office hours that would bring some of our 10-month folks back for during the 2 hours of the summer. And transportation, as needed, we make sure that we have them on.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
We recommend the Board of Education authorize the resolution to appoint the following substitutes for James Doty and Jessica.
Sure. Mrs. Young, second. Mr. Puglisi, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Recommend the Board of Education adopt a resolution stating the Board of Education hereby retires the use of the Red Raider name, image, and mascot effective June 30th.
May I have a motion? Mrs. Gorski, second. Mr. Puglisi, discussion? All in favor? Anyone in favor? I don't think so.
State of New York's telling you what to do.
I know.
I hate to say it, what are you gonna do?
I don't. Any no's? Here, no? Okay. He's leaving. He's like, no. Two no's. Okay, I think it's carried. I think the rest are yes. Two no's and 4 yeses. Okay, so, visitor comments, you can approach the podium and you have 5 minutes. Thanks, Dan, for being here.
So to continue what I was saying, yes, Kevin, I have a copy of the educational, I looked it up, and it specifically says abolishment of an office or position. It does say nothing about title, and it also references teachers. And this does not take the place of civil service law, which those 3 positions I mentioned, the 2 safety liaisons, and the chief information officer, are under civil service. That would be Mechanicville, City Mechanicville Civil Service Commission. So, in abolishing those titles, which is what you're doing, those positions, just like the stenographer position, will no longer exist. Should you choose in the future to bring them back, you have to go through the process of creating a position and go through that with them before you can do anything. And again, so I disagree with what you're saying. If we were talking about teachers, and thankfully we're not getting rid of teachers and teaching assistants, but I just wonder what would the agenda have looked like if we had. Would you have still abolished titles? Because again, abolishing a title, if you look up what that actual definition is, just like the assistant principal. You're abolishing a title. We have 2 assistant principals, as we are all aware, and we're abolishing one. So we're abolishing a title. How do you abolish one assistant principal without abolishing the other? And again, I asked, and I'd like an answer. You're abolishing, according to your agenda here, the Director of Data and Accountability. That is not the civil service title or actual title position. You can name that position Director of Tables and Chairs if you wanted to. It doesn't change civil service law, civil service acceptable titles. That director is not a civil service title. So what are we doing with that one? Specifically, on your agenda, so I assume you're voting on the words that are actually on this page, yes?
That's
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you're voting to abolish the title of Director of Data and Accountability, which actually means absolutely nothing, because this is a civil service position that is, under the direction of the Civil Service Commission of Mechanicville. You have to take a test called Chief Information Officer in order to have that position. So I'm asking you guys just voted on all this, which I tried to explain during the first set of visitors' comments. So you voted on taking out and abolishing the title of Director of Data and Accountability.
Not all of
Yes, thank you. Very good. Yes, I want to applaud both of you for doing that, by the way. So I'm asking, what is it you're actually doing? So legally, this is your resolution. Legally, you just abolished the title of Director of Data and Accountability. You just legally abolished the title of Assistant Principal. So I'm just curious how that's all going to work. So if someone would be willing to explain that to me, that would be wonderful.
Happy to put it for you in writing.
Oh, I would love that. If you want to email it me to my personal email address, if you don't have that, I can get it to Kathy or whatever. Thank you. Okay. Since I have not quite 2 minutes left. So as far as the regulator thing, I think it's crazy what we're doing, getting rid of it. I understand your state mandate, and I think it's sad that not all school boards banded together in the state of New York and did the right thing. If everyone had banded together and resisted the state, what would they have actually done? Fire off the school boards in the entire state of New York? I don't think so. So I'm glad to see the federal government is taking on this challenge, and I hope it's very successful for everyone's sake, because I think it's ridiculous that it's been mandated, and the money that would be involved, as we all know, in switching over all that stuff would be just crazy, and it's our history, and I think that's important. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
I'll extend the offer. You got an inside track here. If you want to stop by any time to have a discussion or an inquiry, I'm happy to have that, because sometimes when we talk after the fact, the intent that you're implying is certainly not any intent that we have.
I'm not implying anything. That's the words in my mouth.
The implication is that we're vaporizing, right, positions. So I will get you the information that you're looking for.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. That's your perception of what I'm saying. I think I'm crystal clear in what I'm saying. And if you don't think that, then please let me know, and I'll be clearer than I already am. So, again, I've expressed my opinion about the safety liaisons. I think that's a huge mistake for this district, and I think it's going to end up biting me in the butt. And again, it's a liability situation. Should now something happen, you all have voted, not you two, you have voted to take out those positions. You're getting rid of those positions. Quite frankly, had you used the over $750 million in the ERS reserves to pay that bill for 25-26, you would have left you a lot of money, and you could have saved more positions. I kept harping on those reserves. You used a little bit out of $100,000 out of one, $125,000 out of another. There's a lot of money in those reserves, and they're there for a purpose. If there was ever a time to use that money, this year would have been the year. I say all this stuff not because I have nothing better to do in my life. If I get up here and speak, it means that I actually care. I don't get up here just to hear myself talk. I actually hate public speaking, believe it or not. But I want to see this district thrive. We're going in the wrong direction. And I think it's sad because we're going to keep losing more people. You're going to lay off more people possibly next year, according to your, what you said. Maybe not. But in the meantime, people are getting the message with what's going on in this district. And they're going to keep leaving. So that's all. We can agree to disagree on big believer in that, but I'm not making any implications or anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Good evening, Ms. Tremblay.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Elena Tremblay and I can sign in wherever you need me to. But I just want to say thank you so much. I was recently appointed as a 7th to 12th grade Spanish teacher, and I'm just so thrilled to join your school community. That is all. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Yeah, we had some great conversations, and how long did you stay here for?
3 hours on a Friday.
3 hours?
Yes.
Do you speak Spanish?
You know, say. But beyond impressed with Elena coming in, and I know that, she went over a lot of folks in short order here, so we're excited.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Garland, and I want to discuss the lack of communication in the school district. I have emailed the Board of Education, I've spoken with Mr. Molokowski, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Howard, to all end up back in the same spot at the school. I have been the one to contact, special education. I haven't heard back from them again. I contacted the Ms. Bulmer, which I believe is guidance, on May 21st in regards to receiving homework. I said it needed to be paper homework. She said, okay. She says, can I email it to you? I said, perfect. Self-received. How's my child supposed to succeed if I don't have homework for her? I can't help her catch up. She's not receiving the resources that she needs for the school. I'm very disgusted by the lack of communication given by all of the administration.
Thanks, I think we can follow up after this meeting if you just hang around for a few minutes. So can I have a motion to enter, we're going to motion to adjourn the public session and enter executive session to discuss personnel matters, the employment history of a particular person or matter leading to it, the appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. The board does not anticipate taking action in this meeting. Motion, Mr. Bowe, second. Mrs. Gorski, discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.